Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. Here I am once again. I'm out here in Cava in Castelo Branco in Portugal, and you wouldn't believe the stuff I have to put up with living in this village of 50 people. There's no laundromat, so I have to figure out a way to do my laundry or find someone who will kindly let me use their washing machine. So today I'd like to present this interview with my friend Luis Fernando Mises, and we talk about a lot of things. Talk about the projects we're working on, about what it feels like to receive Shaktipat, which is when a guru, a yoga guru specifically, bestows their energy on a devotee. So Luis went through that experience, and I also went through something similar. We talk about cryptocurrency, about some projects that we're watching. Luis talks about Ripple and why he thinks it might be a good bet, and I talk about Halo platform. We also talk about the tragic death of John Galton in Acapulco and what it means, whether people should be concerned about their safety in Acapulco, how you can take care of yourself when you're in a developing nation, a place in Latin America, somewhere where it's not so safe. And then we get into a very extended conversation talking about our love for Mexican food and the pursuit of the perfect quesadilla. Which combination of cheeses most pleases? So we'll get into all that and more. Now, if you're watching this from the future, you can check out Luis's new website, lfmises.com or luisfernandomises.com. If you're watching it from the present, February 2019, and what are you doing? You need to jump in your time machine. Of course, you can still check out Luis's site, emancipatedhuman.com, where he posts his podcast for the moment, and soon that'll be transitioning like a FTM into something new and wondrous, into his consultant firm's website. So thanks so much for tuning in. Remember to share these videos. Tune in again to Cryptonomics. I got some more videos coming up talking again about the pain of losing money and how you can deal with this difficult emotional situation. Also more episodes with my friend Chris Guida talking about questions that we picked up off the internet, transmitted through the ether over the Ethernet. So once again, let's get into it. So I'm here with my friend Luis Fernando Mises. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have my name here now. That's pretty cool.
Your name's Tim?
No. It's in black, so it's kind of hard to see.
Okay. You're coming in from Acapulco.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's wintertime, and we're like at 75 degrees, and it's nice and humid and beautiful, sunny day.
What's that, like 20 degrees Celsius, right?
Approximately, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds great. I mean, I'm in Portugal. I'm in this small village called Cava, like 100 kilometers from Coimbra. There's waterfalls around here and stuff. It's cool. I don't think I told you, but the reason I came here was like, I want to do my kind of personal meditation retreat. So get away from everything and try to meditate for like 3 or 5 hours a day.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. So
what a great research.
Yeah, that's right. It's going well so far. I meditated like 3 hours today already. So.
And what are your experiences during your meditation?
Well, there's nothing profound so far. It's not like Buddha level enlightenment. I've just been focusing on my breath, I've had some pleasant sensations, like some happiness emerging, and that's good. And I want to try that some more. I did this yoga intensive a few months ago in London, and it's this organization called the Siddha Yoga Organization. They do this intensive. I'm sure you've heard the term Shaktipat.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like where the guru gives her
Gives.
energy, to the devotees. So we went through it. It was like 10 hours of meditation and spiritual instruction and chanting, and it was quite beautiful. But I also, at the end, I was like, is that it? But I guess it's like a lot of things. The real lessons come afterwards, so you have to put in the practice and find out what it's really about. So after that, I've been meditating a lot more.
I was following Amma for a long time. You probably heard about the lady from India, Amma, in Karunamaji. And so I heard that she was going to be in Dallas. So I brought my wife and we both went to see Amma, right? And then there's I don't know, a couple hundred people and everybody gets like a little card. You write down what you want. And the guy was like, you have to be really specific because that's how she's able to provide things. So it's my turn and I have my little card and I'm walking and I'm a little scared. And then like in my card, I have Shaktipat and $1 million. So she grabs my card from me, she sees it, and she laughs. She's like, kind of pats me on the back, and then she does some stuff, and then she's like, boop. I get my card back, and I'm walking back towards the back of the room where my wife was, and I just start shaking uncontrollably. So I have to I cannot even stand or sit. So I go to the back where nobody's there, and I'm just like this. Like all my fucking naughties are probably just expelling all this karmic goop of shit, and I'm like. And my wife, no, it's not funny. It's like a lot of people say, oh yeah, I want Satori and all this shit. I was feeling like I was gonna die, and my wife looks at me.
Whoa.
And I'm like, it was fucking intense.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the $1 million yet. So, but I got shocked. It was like nothing I've ever experienced in my life, dude.
Okay.
My daughter is 14 and she was 2 at a time. So this is 12 years ago. Yeah, it's been a minute, dude. Oh my God. I didn't know what to expect. But when I was going to college, I took world religions and the guy was really big on meditation and, what Eastern philosophies. And he talked about Shaktipat and all these things. I was like, oh snap, I want to do that. So that's kind of how I learned about it. So, oh man, destructive. That energy is pretty destructive.
Okay.
Not in a bad way, but it deletes all the bullshit.
So what happened afterwards? Did you feel like your life had changed or it was like you're being reborn or something?
No, none of that. I was just shaking uncontrollably. I was like, am I dying? Am I just going to collapse on the floor? Is this it? I'm going to go like this. This is lame. And I was scared. And then after a while, it started receding and I started feeling a little bit more calm. And from then on, a lot of things opened up for me in manifestation kind of stuff. So that was nice and helpful in that sense. I connected with, I became a yoga instructor, and then I was doing shamanism. So it was kind of the door that opened a lot of things for me. Yeah, I'm super perpetually grateful for that, and I don't think I've ever felt anything like that until recently. I have a friend, Kendall. She's a tantric teacher, and I asked her for a couple of tips. And this is probably mature rated, but as to do some interesting breath work, and then you do conscious self-love, but without images, without imagination. It's just presence with the member.
Saying physical self-love, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you're coming to close to it to stop. So the whole idea is to separate orgasm from ejaculation.
Hmm.
And because a lot of times we are wired to believe that it's the same thing, but I'm learning that it's not. So I'm able to separate it. And in the meantime, I'm having some troubles with like things getting hard because it's like confused. But
right.
I mean, it's the interim, so shit happens when you're always like experimenting with life. But
Yes.
anyway, like as I've gone to a place where like when I am in the act and I do the breath work with it, I feel what I was told that's like the love of God, whatever that means. That's just what I internalized. I was like, holy hell! Like I mean, I got like so warm and happy and laughy, and the colors look brighter. And I was like, that kind of like a little shaky thing. And I was like, oh, I mean, this is very interesting. And I'm not like ejaculating or anything, but like the orgasm is not just localized in my genitals. Like I feel surges of energy going kind of like this in my arms and up in my legs. And it's like at some point kind of scary, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, this is like fucking amazing. Like, I mean, just your normal orgasm doesn't do it anymore. It's like, I don't care about ejaculating. That's like not the same, So connecting with that, like through the meditative process and breath work is like, like you don't even like the end is not, you don't even care about coming at the end. It's just like the process and you're in it. And so you have to kind of like contract your pelvic muscles as you're doing the breath work. So you can do that not just during the act. Like I'm walking sometimes or just driving and I'm contracting and doing the breath work and I'm like,
I know there's a breathing technique. I think it's called the serpent breath, where you picture the energy kind of going up your spine and down your front. I think is that the one?
That's it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I've never got that deep with it, but I guess that's another thing to learn.
I just started. So I cannot claim longevity on that, but it's like OMG. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kind of fun.
Yes. I won't go too much into it. There's a whole lot of stuff I could say about that. But let's talk about something that's a bit tragic.
Oh, yeah.
The death of John Galton in Acapulco. So for people who don't know the story, about 3 years ago, John Galton and his partner Lily moved down to Acapulco, and they were in an unusual situation because they were running as fugitives from the United States from drug charges. The judge apparently wanted to give them a life sentence or something like that. They had this equipment for making dabs, which is like this highly concentrated cannabis oil, cannabis wax. And so they were being treated as like these high drug manufacturers or these nasty drug manufacturers. So they had to escape and they got to Acapulco, where they lived, and they had to make a living in various ways. Like Lily rode on Steamit, and they were selling food in a little home restaurant and all this different stuff. And unfortunately, a couple of weeks ago, John Galton was murdered. There's a lot of questions around that. People are concerned about the safety in Acapulco, and that's something we can discuss in detail. Like, we both had a bit of experience with that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a shame, and my condolences to the families that are involved, and because there's another guy that also got shot and he got wounded. He's in a safe place and he's stable, but all of that, I mean, it is a shame. I don't think that the details of that, they don't belong to us. We will let the families share that as they come out. I saw a lot of people on the Anarchaforko Facebook page asking, like, they were like, I want to sell my ticket. I'm scared. This is, this is crazy. And then, like, the sensationalist media, especially the Daily Mail, like those guys are like the worst. They made up some weird shit and they just kept going on and on about it. So, I mean, right off the bat, like Acapulco is divided into like 4 places, I think. So you got the old Acapulco, then you got the golden one, Dorado, and then you have the Diamante, and then you have El Barrio Negro, the Black Hood, as they call it. Yeah. So the old Acapulco is where normal locals live, and you can go there. It's relatively safe. It's cheap. Then golden one is usually where national Mexicans go there for vacation and all of that.
It's the resort section.
Yeah. And then the Diamante area here is where Anarchaforko is located. And this is like where Johnny Cash had a house. Bill Gates has a house. Like all the actors and actresses from Mexico, they have houses here. Like the safety, it's private safety, it's not government safety. All of this is paid by all these filthy capitalists, right? That just want to clean place. And then the Black Hood is like usually where like you have to be like really, really, really poor, or being involved in some trade of drugs to be there. And like that's kind of like, I don't know if you remember the when Mufasa is telling Simba, like, you see over there, we never go there, kind of thing.
So everything the light touches in that place.
Yeah, so that's kind of the same thing. That's why they call it Black Hood, because the light doesn't touch it. So as long as people don't go to the Black Hood and they're not just like sporting jewels and like all this fancy stuff when they go to the real Acapulco, things will be fine. Like I think the only reason why, like if people are not involved in doing like drug deals or whatever like that, the cartels are not going to touch them. Everybody here, like, this is a tourist town. They make money off of visitors. The cartel knows, government knows, local businesses know. They want to keep it relatively safe. Like, I don't know, maybe like 8-10 years ago, it was like pretty damn horrible. Drug war that took place. The former president of Mexico, not Peña Nieto, but the one before. No, the one after Fox. The guy with glasses looked like Milhouse from Simpsons.
I don't know his name.
That dude. He had like a rampant war on drugs that made things. I mean, he was, I think, in my opinion, was a good president, but that was a big mistake. Anyway, so things are much better, especially in the area. Like, last night I was hungry and it was like 1:30 a.m. and I got out and I drove around and I bought me some food, and it was like 130 pesos still in the Diamante area. And 130 pesos is like $6 US dollars. And I mean, I visited some friends driving with the windows down. I even saw people jogging as I was getting here close to the house.
Oh, right.
I mean, is that your experience too?
Yeah, well, I guess I had a few different experiences there, because the first year it was me and my buddy Aaron, and we didn't have a lot of money, and we went on Airbnb or Booking or whatever it was, and we're like, all right, where's the cheapest place? And it was this place 10 minutes by taxi from the Copacabana. And so it was pretty far away. I think we walked back one night. Well, that's one thing. We walked back one night. We didn't have any problems. It took like an hour to walk back, and we met some interesting characters along the way. But we had a good time there. I mean, it wasn't the richest neighborhood, obviously. We went out, and there's a guy in the morning, and he's selling tamales and what's that stuff? Not atole, but I think they call it chapurrado, or the chocolate corn drink that they have. So when we had for breakfast, and that was nice. I mean, we knew it wasn't, I guess, the safest place in the world, but it was fine. Like, we watched our back, and yeah, I mean, we even probably took maybe some risks that we shouldn't have. Like, we used taxi drivers that we just hailed off the street, which maybe you shouldn't do. You probably should get a contact of somebody who you know, or a friend knows them, so you can be sure about that. Because there are some things that happen sometimes. Like, I heard a story, not in Acapulco, but in Medellin. Somebody took a taxi. They didn't know the taxi driver, and the taxi driver's just reached down and pulls out a machete, and he's like, "Give me all your money." So that stuff can happen in Latin America. So you do have to take extra precautions. And I think that's important. People think about that stuff. Anyway, 2015, whatever it was, we had a good time, and no problems with security at all, even though we took a few too many risks. And the other years, I mean, 2016, we were staying in a villa in the hills there, and that was really nice. So definitely no problems there. And 2017, Kenny rented this Casa Creativa, his little project there, and we had, artists and speakers from the event coming and going, and it was really awesome. In terms of security, I never had a moment where I was threatened or anything like that. I was never mugged. But people have had muggings and things. There was also one thing that people should be aware of. There's a town near Acapulco. I think it's called Chilpancingo.
That's the capital of the state.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, so it's a city near Acapulco, capital of Guerrero. And sometimes what happens is, as it's a bit famous because of what happened a few years ago, these high school teachers, or these people studying to be high school teachers, they call them normalistas, and some of them communists, I suppose, they decide to commandeer buses and take them over and say, "All right, bus driver, you're taking us to this bar or this party or whatever it is." And that kind of happens every year. So I remember one year somebody posted in the Anarchaforko group saying, "What is going on? Like, I'm in Chilpancingo, and this bus got taken over by these guys in black masks, and it's forcing us off the bus." And this guy had no idea what was going on. Fortunately, he was never in any danger. These were just kids. They have this tradition. I think it's kind of a silly tradition, but it is kind of harmless as well, apart from the hours that people lose catering to them. But that's another thing people should be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, Chilpancingo is a little bit of a scary place. I mean, there is a lot of cartel activity there. So, I mean, that's a place really careful, like you said, just awareness. Here in this area, dude, like I was telling you, I saw people jogging at 2 a.m. and 1, 2 people, and then 3, 4, and this is like the area where all the preppy kids like come and party because their fancy dads have a fancy house, and like, I mean, all of this is super, super safe. There is a reason why it was placed here in the Diamante area, and we are so close to the airport. Like, you don't have to even go through the black neighborhood or the Rio Acapulco or anything like that. Like, it's the airport and then Diamante, and then if you want to go to the Rio Bay, you keep going. So I mean, it's this place is super, super secure. There shouldn't be any issues at all, unless you're like creating havoc. Because like, obviously, if you're just being an asshole, people are gonna not take that, right?
Right. Yeah. So people always have to be aware of the local cultural norms. There's some things sometimes. I remember I was in Cambodia, and this woman, my friend, pointed out, "What is this English woman doing? Like, she's wearing this top with her shoulders exposed, and and cleavage out, and he's like, you can't do that around here. That's not that's not what local people do. So,
yeah, that's actually something that I had to tell my wife. She is from the United States. They wear like those tiny shorts and the spaghetti strap tops things because it's hot. And I told her, the Diamante area, all of that is fine. Like there's a bunch of tourists, Europeans and gringos, all sorts of. This is like a little United States part of Acapulco. This is fine. Like you would not want to necessarily do that going to the Rio Acapulco area. You dress a little more conservatively, and it's not like, well, they shouldn't like see me. Like you cannot just say, hey, you need to change your customs. Like you adapt to where you go. So maybe wear a little longer shorts, a little longer sleeves, and that's it. Just look. I just have some gray long shorts and like a nice little shirt, like no jewelry, normal people clothing, and that's it. Like you're not gonna, like nobody's gonna pay attention to you. Like you'll be fine. You're tall and you're blonde and you're white, and like you were loved. Like you were like everybody. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I speak Spanish and I have my accent from Mexico City. All of that. Like they see I'm a local, so they don't even give a damn about me. But you didn't feel like threatened or anything like that.
No. Like I said, we were that night when we walked home to the hotel Acapulco in the first year. It was three of us, me, Aaron, and Christoph Heuermann, fascinating guy. And we walked along, and there were a lot of shady characters, like people hanging out in alleys and stuff, like outside of convenience stores, and we're like, all right, I guess that guy's holding or whatever. And we started talking to this young lady, and she walked with us for like 10 minutes, and she said, oh yeah, I'm a working girl, whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to pay you, right? So she's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just hanging out. I'm like, oh, cool. So she just came and hung out and had a beer with us. But yeah, there were people around of perhaps questionable character. You just keep an eye on them, and it's not a problem generally.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Like it just goes back. One thing that my mom always told me growing up, she says, always, always, always greet people, say hi to everybody, good evening, good morning, everybody. They will know you. They'll know you're not a threat, that you're a good person. They're not going to start shit against you because you're nice. So same thing to everybody, like, so you go, hey, what's up? There's a lot of like gated communities here and in closed areas, like the gendarme, what's the word in English? Whatever dude with a gun, like, hey, what's up? Good evening. Like they notice those things. They realize who you are. They don't they recognize your car. They don't even care. You keep going. Like people become familiarized with you. And it just opens so many doors because you're a good person instead of like,
Yeah, that's so true.
It's super safe. Like, here at the conference, there's people that like super wealthy individuals. And like I was telling you, Bill Gates has a house here. I don't know. Like you lived in Mexico for a while. Luis Miguel, the singer, has a house here. He lives here full time, and there is people that, Jeff Berwick, he's got a lot of money and he lives here. Like he doesn't carry guns or anything. Like I do feel naked without my gun here. I feel like I got some form of like they took away one of my kidneys or something.
Well, I wish I could go around the world just carrying a gun. I've never even shot a gun. I don't think I've even held a gun.
If you ever go to Texas,
yeah,
I will take you.
All right. Well, I'll be in the United States in a few months.
Well, come to Texas, and my house is the anarchist hub in Dallas, so you're always welcome.
All right.
We'll take you to the range. There's actually one new range that opened up pretty close to my house. We can go try it out.
I was thinking about doing it in Cambodia, but I kind of chickened out. I wasn't feeling 100% that day, so I was like, Maybe I won't do that.
I have to tell you, the very, very, very first time that I went to the range, I almost didn't do it because like they have like double doors because it's so loud. So they have like a little atrium. So you open after you pay and all of that. You open and you enter, and then the door closes, and you open the other one, and you're in the lanes. Before I went to the second door, I just hurled the freaking gunshots, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like you could feel them, the vibration, boom, boom, boom. I was like, "Fuck! Oh, I can't do this."
Yeah.
Ah. And I was like, "Dude, you have a gun, you have paid, you have to do this." So just put my feet on,
Committed.
and I go in, and then there's like all the lanes, boom, 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 boom. Like fuck. Lane 2, okay. I was scared the first time I did it. No shame in my game, bro.
Yeah.
I would understand if you're afraid the first time.
Yeah, because it's like holding this thing. If you hold it the wrong way, it could go really badly for you.
Oh god,
like a power tool or something,
So, I learned really good, and then I teach people. I take a bunch of people. Pete Gorman, he went to my house. He stayed with me, I don't know, several days. I took him. Whenever I took him, I posted on Facebook, "Hey, I'm going to take Pete Gorman to the ranch. Who wants to come?" And then I think one person actually showed up. So this person shot one of the lights, and the whole place burnt down. Okay.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, yes.
It literally burnt down. Like
I shit you not. When we got home, I opened the door of the house, and my mom was like, "Were you working at the mines? Because like we're all black, like with fucking like whatever shit." Like, oh my god. Okay, so here's the thing. Like this guy, his eyesight, I don't know what the fuck. So he shoots, and it ricochets and hits back on the light. The light falls down. It breaks. There's so much like black powder there, and then everything catches fire. I shoot 45 seconds. I just was like, I grabbed, because I brought like, I don't know, a couple of rifles and a couple of guns just to let him sample things.
Yeah.
And I grabbed as much as I could, and I was like, "You grab that, you come here." Like people were just like, and so I had to like take direction. And I was like telling people, I grabbed my wife by the waist, and I was just, because the lights went down, like it was dark, all the fire, like on my back, I felt heat, like all the fire. So I just grabbed her, and I was pushing her towards the direction, and I was like, "Jim, get to your car." And then the fire was coming out of the fucking building, and like it was insane. I'm not taking Jim shooting with me ever again.
Well, he learned a very valuable lesson that day.
Then Pete Gorman was like, "So this is what you do, mate? Every time you go shooting?" I'm like, no.
A little fire drill to go with the shooting practice.
Dude, it was crazy.
So nobody was hurt, right?
We were the last ones in the range. It was nighttime, and the people that worked there, dude just handed me my ID, and like I was telling you, I told like Jim was like kind of discombobulated. I was like, "Jim, your car's there. Go to my house. You come here." Because for some reason, like when people are in like high levels of stress, like like a lot of blood exits your brain and it goes to your arms and legs, so you become really strong but really dumb. So it's the whole fight or flight. Like you can punch like a motherfucker, but you can't think. So I guess like the meditation, I don't know what the fuck was that. Like, so anyway, all these, we got him, went to the house, and like all black, like, and my mom was like, "What happened, mijito?" I was like, I told her, "Well, guess what?" And it was crazy. So anyway, that's not gonna happen with you when you come to see this. I'm not gonna put you in with us.
Just to set my mind at ease, right?
Your parents don't need that level of stress in their lives anymore.
Yeah. Well, I guess the insurance covered the building and everything, so
yeah, they're fully insured. And so
Jim wasn't on the hook for hundreds of guns or anything.
Yeah, and I mean everybody was safe. Like the shooting range is back in business. all of that is fine. I just kind of regretted taking Jim with me.
Yeah. I know what not to do. Don't shoot a light.
So when are you coming?
Let's talk about some crypto stuff. So I have an episode for cryptonomics. Yeah.
Crypto is amazing. What are you focusing on crypto these days?
Well, one thing I've been thinking about a lot is asset allocation, because it's kind of a thing which I didn't plan ahead for. And so when crypto really went up a lot, and it kind of dominated my portfolio, and I have like minimal amount of stocks and a bit of precious metals, but the crypto stuff was like going to the sky. And I didn't take a lot of profits and put it into precious metals or other things. It's really important that people have rules to know when they should sell some and when to move it into other areas, move it into cash, stocks, even bonds, precious metals especially. Do you have a plan for that kind of thing?
I'm going to be very honest. I sold all my Bitcoin. I sold all Bitcoin Cash. I have no Ethereum. I moved all the crypto into Monero, but most primarily Ripple. Now, some people will say that I'm a sellout, but I actually went to do a luncheon speech presentation at the Federal Reserve Bank. I went to the belly of the beast.
Okay. This is how you say you're not a sellout, because you went to the Fed. Go.
That's not. Hold on. So, I'm doing a little project managing situation, and the lady is like, "Luis, I googled your name," and I was like, "Fuck!" And I see you're into cryptocurrencies. Oh shit! I'm thinking like she's gonna cancel. That's a lot of money that I need right now.
Right.
My son is into cryptocurrencies, and the vice president is too. I'm like, nigga, what? And then, cash printing, like dollars, has been on the decline for a long time. So people don't use cash as much. They use debit, they use Apple Pay, all of these things. So they see Ripple as a way to move into that. So it's an investment into something that can explode. Like if the Federal Reserve and Chase Bank are backing Ripple, to me, that's a sign of sell everything you have and buy that shit. Bitcoin went down quite a bit. It's still one of the best investments if you put money in early. At 3,600, it's still a great investment. But future, like by design. Okay, so side note, there's a book that I'm reading called New Power. And the guy in the book describes old power and new power. Old power is like a currency, something that you amass and you give a little bit out, but you keep mostly for yourself. And new power is like a current. The more people you involve in it, the stronger it becomes. It's like electricity. So Bitcoin Core used to be new power, and it transformed into old power because by design, they're not letting them move a lot. Whereas Bitcoin Cash, for instance, it's very open sourced, it's very decentralized. They're doing all sorts of things. So even though the value is lower, I think they can get a lot of stuff done. So I think Bitcoin became what they were fighting against. It's not what the white paper talked about. So in the idea of Ripple is just what did Doug Casey call it? Speculative investment.
Right.
This shit can go up really big. And, right now it's like 30 cents of a dollar for every Ripple, but they're forecasting that at least it's going to go to $10. So even if it goes to $1, I would be so thrilled. But if it goes to 10, because it's going to be something that the actual freaking US government is going to move into, why not? A lot of, at first I was like, I don't want to invest into Ripple because I'm an anarchist and I don't want to support the government. But it will be I know for a fact that freedom also comes from financial freedom. if you have money, you don't have to be bound by the rules of these people.
Yes.
So you can do whatever the fuck you want. And then if you invest there, then you can like maximize. Just basically you're playing with their own rules to get out of their rules.
Yeah. Use your own tools against them. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's where I'm at. What do you think about that?
I have heard similar things about stellar lumens. So I think stellar lumens, it was the guy who co-founded Ripple, and then they had some disagreement, and then he went off and did his own thing. The thing about both of them is they are quite centralized. Like it's not a normal blockchain. The information is held in a more centralized database, and they can do things with Ripple, like shut down the coins, shut down an account and say, that's not going to move. That's a risk. I mean, it's not a risk that's going to come into play for a lot of people, because why is Ripple going to care about your coins? But you don't know. So it's an unknown there. I've never bought Ripple except to do some arbitrage. So I've never researched too deeply into it. One project that I'm looking at and that I've bought a bit of is called Halo Platform, and it's not a very well known one. It just got listed on CoinMarketCap the other day. So this is a funny thing about it. It had an ICO. It came out at $10, and it's gone down a lot since then. So it went down to about $1, and then it had a 800 to 1 split. But the thing is, it looks like they're not after the quick cash. So they weren't looking at getting it listed on a bunch of exchanges or anything like that. When I first started buying it, I was buying OTC on the Discord channel. And there's a lot of trust that goes on there. So people are like, so I'll give you the Ethereum and you give me the Halo. And I never got ripped off in there. So that says something good about the community.
Yeah.
And they're putting out announcements every week, letting people know what's going on. They implemented a decentralized exchange in the wallet. So the tokens after the split, they're like 1/10 of a cent right now. It's another speculative investment. It could go up a lot. So we'll see.
Yeah. I recently joined this guy, my friend Joe's thing, and this is a traders and investors mentor market. Like there's a lot of people that want to learn, and there's a lot of people that want to be able to provide the services of like crypto analysts. So this is like a network where you can so they provide the tools for the analysts, and then people can come to trusted analysts. So it's like a hub, kind of like Airbnb, where you need a house and then you have a host, a guest, and then that's what Airbnb does. So Tim does that for analysts and people that want to like invest their money, and it's the website. It's not like tim.com or anything. It's mentormarket.io, but it's something pretty awesome. That it's also like, it is a centralized thing, but it's decentralized in the sense that you don't have one dude like the purveyor of all truth. Like you can shop for analysts. And then whatever kind of like you think the person, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you kind of connect with them and you can do things. So I like the market provides, I think that's a pretty, smart way to do it, like Airbnb. I'm excited. We'll see where it goes. I like gold. This is 30 grams. And there's just something to the feel of it. I like holding it. And I was hanging out with one of my friends, the guy that runs Freedom Fest, Mark Skousen. And he always keeps like a round of gold in his back pocket. And he says like the pirates used to keep a round of gold in their bag, just in case, like if they died, somebody will pick up the bag of the gold and then they will give them proper burial. So that was like pirate stuff. So he taught me that trick. And then I was like, well, if somebody, like if I die, probably people are not going to give me a proper burial and they're just going to keep my golden coin. But I like to think of it more like a John Wick situation because I like guns and I like suits. So I just keep golden rounds because they feel good. So all that to say, I like the feel of gold. And sometimes like what I do is I buy like the small ones, like the 2.5 grams, because like if the shit hits the fan, you can trade with those. This is like what, $1,300. It like, this is like something like really big. Like if it's like food, if it's groceries, if it's like lodging with the 2.5 grams, it's like 120, $150 at a time. You can trade with them. I have 1 gram ones too. And I actually get them from Provident Metals. So ideally, like I hope like shit never hits the fan. So I can ideally I want those for my kids because of the tax that comes whenever you die, whatever that's called here in the Socialist United States. Like I just want to like for my kids to know where my shit is so they can pick it up and they don't have to like struggle, right? I have health insurance, life insurance. But all that to say, like I have gold and I have silver because that's something that they can use right away. And if some shit happens, I can use it right away too. So I keep some there. But mostly I have crypto just because, like I was telling you, like the whole idea of selling everything. Like, I even consider putting credit into it. Like after what I learned, if the own Federal Reserve Bank is into it, I felt like it could be a good investment.
Yes.
And then, once it makes some money, I could sell it and buy land, or I can buy more gold, or I can buy more guns, or whatever, right? But just to make that investment give me more return. I was looking at like, this is me from Mexico City. This is me from Texas, like my colors. This is so interesting. So yeah, how about you? How do you do that investment situation?
Yeah, I do try to keep a lot more precious metals. As after that last crash, I was like, I need more in something that's very stable. And I do think precious metals are very stable. It doesn't look like they'll crash anytime soon. I've been looking at different asset allocation models. So some people have this idea like, say, you take your age and you put that as a percentage for safe assets. So things like bonds or, from my perspective, precious metals are like the safest asset that you can have. So I would say, well, I'm 35 years old. I take 35% and put it in precious metals. But that's not quite what I've done. But it's more like I'm trying to get to, say, 40% in precious metals, maybe 20% crypto, 10 or 20% crypto. Because the thing is, if crypto blows up, then you don't need to have a lot. You don't need to have like 90% of your portfolio in crypto. The only reason I would do that is if I had very little investments. So I'm just trying to take a moonshot, like put it all on black or whatever and try to jump up big, and then I have something that I can divide. But the bigger your portfolio is, the more you want to spread it across markets. So yeah, I have some stocks, ones that are recommended by the Dollar Vigilante newsletter, the gold and silver mining stocks. And what else? Of course, I have cash as well. So
you keep actual cash?
Like on me? No, in banks.
Not on you, but like or whatever. Like you hold cash as asset.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't keep any cash at all. Like, the other day I was like, oh, fuck, I have $1 in my wallet. It's like so funny. I was like showing my daughter, went to the grocery store, and there's like at Whole Foods like $140, and I open my wallet and I show her $1, and she's like,
but you had cash on Apple Pay or whatever.
Well, I was swiping BitPay.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
magically it worked. Right. So you hold Bitcoin as cash as well. as
I have
transactional.
like a small amount of Bitcoin for like daily transactions, and I can always sell some other things to do that. But yeah, I hold no cash at all. I try to look as poor as possible.
Yeah.
In that, like electronically and like physically. Like I have one family member that he was gonna like move to a different place, and he said, I need to tighten up my belt, and I started making sandwiches because I'm gonna get a new place. I'm like, fuck, I still live off of quesadillas, you know? Just because I don't think like I don't want to like over. I mean, when it's I get paid once a month from my consulting firm, and that's when I go to like Indian restaurants. But other than that, like I shit you not, like I mean, I went to Comercial Mexicana to buy tortillas and cheese. I mean,
tortillas. Man,
like,
you know,
that's what I live off of, you know, and an avocado. I mean, that's it.
that's great. I love that, but
I don't spend money on that. I mean, I go to Whole Foods and I buy the better stuff, but I still live off the same. I buy Sprouts now, maybe, you know.
Yeah. By the way, do you have a quesadilla recipe, like specific cheeses?
I don't know if I have a recipe. I just put it on this. Like I don't like this hotel room.
Because this is the thing. I went to this taqueria in Guadalajara once, and they were charging like what seemed like a high price to me at the time. It was like 15 pesos for one little quesadilla. I'm like, come on, it's normally 10 for a big one. So what are you doing here? I thought in my head, this better be the best quesadilla I've ever tasted. And it was. So I, it had the little, crispy cheese on the side and everything. From the grill.
Well, my kids really like my cooking, but I mean, all I do is like I am okay. So there's a difference, like northern Mexico and central southern Mexico. Northern Mexico, they use flour tortillas.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like Jewish, German kind of stuff. They use flour tortillas. Central, south, more Native American, Mexican. Like, I mean, we use corn tortillas. Yes. So, I mean, I prefer corn. Number one, like, and they're cheaper and they're like, they're not as fattening, all sorts of things. So, but with these, like, I just put a little bit of oil, on the skillet, like make it warm, and then just add the cheese and like salt, bacon. Costco. Okay,
But what type of cheese? That's the key question.
That's where I'm going. From my dad's side of the family, they're and my mom's too. They have a little bit of gypsy in them, right? So I get manchego, which is sheep cheese. All right, it's stronger than normal cow cheese. But I found at Costco they have like a big old triangle chunk for like $12. So I like shave it and kind of like put it on the tortilla and like close it and then so I serve like 2 or 3 tortillas like quesadillas to my kids with little hummus and maybe like some tomatoes and a little lettuce and some carrots.
Yeah. And
eat them just like when I don't have time. I don't want people to think that that's how I feed my kids. Like I actually cook and my wife cooks, but on that's normally what I eat every day. But for them, we make better things. Anyway, so that's my recipe, if you will. And sometimes I just buy like masa, like powder, maseca. And I add water, salt, and oil, and I make the masa. And I put like cheese or potatoes inside, and I deep fry them, or even beans. Because my wife doesn't do dairy.
Tlacoyos.
No. They're actually like deep fried quesadillas. And my wife doesn't do dairy, so I do like beans or potatoes for her, and the kids eat whatever I feed them. And dude, wow! And then like I make some little sauce and like burning your hands, like open it, add a little sauce. My mom used to like when we go to the market, there was like these Indian ladies like on their knees, like on the floor, just making this. And like my mom, I'm a preppy boy, went to, private school where Placido Domingo went. My mom is not like, she doesn't really like to cook. So I didn't learn any of this from her or anything like that. But I was like, dude, like I just want to do it because like that seems awesome. So I started doing it, and my mom's like, Mijo, I was so worried. Yeah, I never even made my bed until I was like 16, like, and she's like, I thought you were, I never, you're surprising me because you didn't do anything ever until like you got married when I was 20. So I learned how to cook and, all those things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to say that the guy at the taqueria, I asked him, how did you make this delicious quesadilla? And he was like, yes, it was amazing. And he gave me this enigmatic response. He was like, it's half queso de mesa, or something. He said something like that, like table cheese, and half, I don't know, he said something like regular cheese. I'm like, what does that mean? So the guy doesn't want to give up his secret recipe, I assume.
Quesadillas are made with Oaxaca cheese.
Right. Well, that's what I figured out. Well, the recipe that I came up with based on his weird response was use some Oaxaca cheese and use some cotija. So
cotija is so good.
Yes, and it's the one Mexican cheese with the most flavor, especially when it gets mature. So you have the cheesiness and the creaminess of the Oaxaca, and normally cotija doesn't melt very well, but because you have the Oaxaca in there, it gets a bit hotter and it starts to melt the cotija. So that's
Kind of gives it a warm hug.
Yes. Yeah, so it tends to work pretty well. But I can't wait to get back to Mexico and eat some enchiladas, enmoladas, and chilaquiles.
That's funny. Like my wife is like, everything is on corn. Like all the Mexican food is around corn, and because she has some belly stuff, like she doesn't eat a lot of corn. So she's like, I can't eat Mexican food, dude. We can't move to Mexico. I'm like, damn it. Because like, like I remember going to high school, walking to school, and just like getting the lady, like you said, tamales, like a torta de tamal. Like, so you're basically eating, like, tamales are made out of corn.
Yeah.
And then you put like fucking like piece of bolillo. So it's like more flour and bread. So
it's a bread sandwich. But we don't have in Guadalajara. Yeah, it is, and it's great because just the texture of the tamal is so like soft and squishy and moist, and then you have the bread, which is a little bit crispy. It's amazing.
So I go to Whole Foods and I buy some vegan tamales because I'm Mexican. I will perpetually eat tamales for the rest of my life. But I buy the vegan ones because I'm a vegetarian, right? So I just get like sourdough bread and I toast it and I put like hummus and then I put my tamal and then maybe put a little sauce. And it's like even better than Doña Pelos in the street. Dude, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't in Guadalajara we don't have tortas de tamal. I don't know why not, because like we have tortas and we have tamales, but they don't go together.
Just go to the panaderia first and grab a few pieces of bread, and then go to the lady that sells tamales and
I probably will, but we do have we have lonches de chilaquiles. So again, it's almost like a bread sandwich. You fry up the totopos and then put it on a sandwich.
Dude, yeah. Like there was something that I never really got into, and my dad used to like deep fried tamales, and they call them encuerados. Like you peel them and then deep fry the tamal. And then you eat it like that. And I never really got into it, but that's the thing, like deep fried tamales.
I will try.
At least once.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's wrap it up there.
that
Do
works
you
for
have
me, sir.
any final notes? Do you want to promote anything?
Emancipatedhuman.com. Actually, I am moving websites because Emancipated Human will be for my consulting firm that I'm opening. So I'm moving all my content from Emancipated Human to luisfernandomisses.com or lfmisses.com. I already bought those. So one of my really good friends, Michael Back, is helping me migrate all of this information. And so just for people to know, I am still Emancipated Human, but my name will be there. And the reason behind it is so exit strategy consulting firm, when I'm 50 years old and I want to sell that, it's a little more difficult to sell Luis Fernando Misses than Emancipated Human LLC, which I have it. So the consulting firm can keep going on without me. And it's only, I was reading the book that I was telling you, New Power. It is only a movement when it moves without you. So if we find a bunch of emancipated humans, I can let that go and do its own thing, because that came through ayahuasca, as I told you, in previous interviews. So that can live the life of its own that transpired through me. So that's what I'm focusing on now. It's kind of exciting, I guess.
Yeah. So the new site is Luis F. Mises?
So I have lfmisses.com or luisfernandomisses.com, either way, and it just shows there. And,
okay.
I don't think that I have those for people to see yet, but within the next month, everything will be moved there.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Thank
good
you for
luck.
having me. I always love talking to you, sir.
Yeah. It's always great. I hope you have fun in Acapulco and everybody stays safe and has a great time and makes some amazing connections.
This conference is not the same without you.
I wish you could be there legally, but next year.
That's right. Have a good one, my friend. And everybody, thank you for watching.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Paradise Paradox. Remember to check out Luis's site in the present, emancipatedhuman.com in the future, lfmises.com or luisfernandomises.com, and subscribe to the Paradise Paradox. Stay cool, like, share, subscribe, like on Facebook, and do a little dance in your underwear, because why not? It's Sunday. Well, you might be watching this on Tuesday. Have a good one, guys. Take care and be cool.